Everybody, it's Greg. I'm out in my backyard with my Edge HD8 and my AVX, and I'm checking out the focus of my system. I've been imaging Saturn for the last month or so, and I'm basically getting all squared away and set up for imaging the planets. So Saturn was first, Jupiter's coming up, as is Mars, and obviously you want to be collimated and in focus. So here I've got a Bahtinov mask. Previously I was using the electronic focuser within Sharpcap, and you can see down here that this right here, this encoder position 57521 on my setup here is where I was getting my best focus of Saturn, but the images, which I will show throughout the video here and at the end of Saturn, I was still sort of really not all that thrilled with, because I'm looking for perfection and I'm wondering whether I'm out of collimation or not. So I got my Edge HD8 in May of 2024. This is September 2024, and I have not messed with the collimation at all. So it's always sort of like in the back of your mind as to whether you're collimated or not. So here I've got a regular Bahtinov mask that I've had for years with my Celestron 8SE. I rarely used it, but I decided to get it out here for this little video because what I'm going to compare this to is a Tri-Bahtinov mask. And what the Tri-Bahtinov mask does is it will show you when you're in focus like this with the X, and then the line through the X is when your focus is right in the middle. This is what I had from about a week ago. This is the same focus because I've got an electronic focuser. When you put the telescope away, when you set it back up again, the electronic focuser kind of keeps the focus of the telescope all squared away. So yeah, this is the normal Bahtinov mask, and I'm going to switch out the normal Bahtinov mask for the Tri-Bahtinov mask, and you're going to see the difference there. So it's going to be similar where you've got 3 spikes and the center line is when you're perfectly in focus. And the Tri-Bahtinov mask adds the feature of showing you if you're in proper collimation. So you'll see many more spikes than the 2 spikes here. You'll see 6 spikes total, 2 for each screw as it turns out. And if the line in the center here of the X, if you got a line in the center of the X, you're perfectly collimated on all fronts. So let's go ahead and swap out the Bahtinov mask for the Tri-Bahtinov mask and see what we have. All right, well, there you go. Look at that. That is, I'm going to claim that that is perfect focus and perfect collimation. You can't get any better than that. This is the collimation that was set in the factory, and I do have Bob's knobs. I've ordered some socket head cap screws to replace my Phillips head screws that came with the telescope because I thought for sure that I was out of collimation, and here you go. This looks like I am perfectly collimated and in focus. So I'm not really going to mess with anything. And we are going to go to Saturn right here and see what we get. So stand by. Be back in a second. All right, well, there you go. That is a pretty good focus. I did not touch the telescope at all. I just slewed over to Saturn and got everything set up and going and got the proper exposure. And by the way, the camera I'm using is a ASI 585. I thought that I would go through some of my camera settings here within Sharpcap that I've been using to take these images for the last month or so. And I've been getting some pretty decent results. First up, I'm using RAW 16 so that I can use a SIR file format. The capture size is 640 by 480. That's the region of interest. 33 1/3 milliseconds at 1/30th of a second. Gain is right around 400, and the reason for that is you want to have a good histogram here to get some really vibrant colors and surface brightness here because Saturn is notoriously dim. So you want to have the planet stabilization turned on here, and that's where the big sensor on the 585 comes in handy, because you can just float the planet all over the disk. My previous planetary imaging camera was a Skyris 132C, and it seemed like the planets were just about the same width as a sensor size. For sure Jupiter was. And I didn't have much headroom here. So what I'm doing, you can see the red box moving around. So what I'm doing to keep the planet in the center of the box, and the red box is the boundary of the 640 by 480. So because the alignment might not be absolutely perfect, we're drifting off a little bit, and I'm using the hand control, Celestron hand control for the AVX, to kind of readjust the red box to maintain Saturn in the center of the region of interest here. And so that's basically what I'm doing. So you want to keep the planet stabilization turned on, and you want to use your scrolling buttons on the controller to scroll around, and I'm using a motor speed of 3 on the Celestron controller. So this really does look pretty good. It's a fairly stable night. I have previously confirmed my focus with a Bahtinov mask and a Tri-Bahtinov mask, and the Tri-Bahtinov mask confirms that I'm also collimated in addition to being in focus. But that's basically it for the settings that I have for imaging Saturn here on September 20th, 2024. Let me know what you think down below, everyone. Clear skies.